Hey guys, so today we're going to cover handling multiple degree apprenticeship offers. I'm hoping this video can be like a ultimate full guide to this topic, so hopefully there's no more questions which need to be asked on this one. I've just seen people asking questions, so yeah, I thought I'd just make this comprehensive video. If there is anything I've missed which I haven't covered, then leave it in the comments down below. That's what the comments are for, and also hate comments as well. If anyone wants to put them, feel free, man. It's free real estate. Go for it. So, just before we get into it, let me just introduce myself in case you don't know me. This is your first time watching me. My name's Owen. I'm a degree apprentice, and I help people get degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology, and finance industries. Here are some people I helped in 2024 get offers. Companies like JLR, HSBC, Rolls-Royce, Deutsche Bank, Amazon, just to name a few. And already this year, some of my students have helped them get offers from companies like KPMG, EY, Deloitte, HSBC, and companies like that. Key thing is basically I got 8 offers, 8 degree apprenticeship offers. That was actually me on my 18th birth. That's a joke, by the way. Um, I got 8 offers, which means like I've been through the process of like handling multiple offers. If you just get one offer, it's fairly simple. Everyone like, do you know what I mean? But there's gonna be some of you, and I actually recommend it. I think it's a better strategy to try and get multiple offers. Like trying to get multiple offers will make it easier to get one offer. If you try and get one offer, it's gonna be more difficult. So yeah, I can talk you through this process handling multiple degree apprenticeship offers. Let's just jump into the video. Oh yeah, final one more thing before we jump into it. Just a quick disclaimer before we do this video. I don't usually have like disclaimers or anything, but I wanted to do it for this video. This video is not me advising what to do. Okay, I'm not advising you. You do this. You do this. You do this. This video is purely for informational purposes. I'm just going to state what I did, and I'm also going to state what I would do if I were to go through the same process again. I'm not recommending anyone do anything. That's completely up to you. You're responsible for your actions. Do not continue watching this video if you don't understand that. Okay, if you're going to do something and then you mess up with this company and you do some weird thing and you complain, oh, and you told me to do this. No, I didn't. I didn't tell you to do anything. I'm literally just stating the facts of what I did and what I would do if I were to go through this process again this year. If you don't understand that, that's fine. You can close the video. But everyone who's watching from now, you understand you're responsible for what you do here. Nothing to do with me. Okay? Let's get into this then. So the trouble with getting offers, yeah, I mean it's a good problem to have. There's gonna be some of you watching who maybe you haven't got an offer yet. This will be good information for future. Those of you who've got one offer and you don't really know what to do with this one offer, maybe there's another offer you'd rather get, or someone who's got multiple offers right now. So the trouble is, usually with these offers, they want you to verbally accept immediately. I remember the first offer I got. I was actually at home doing another assessment center, and they called me, and I picked up, and they're like, "Oh, we'd like to give you an offer, whatever." And they're like, so would you like to accept the offer? Right. And I'm just like, oh yeah, definitely. So I just want to go and think about it and go and consider things. And she's like, oh, well, what do you want to consider? Is this something you're serious about or not? Just because we need you to accept this today, right now. And then, okay, fine. I just said, okay, yeah, I'll accept it right now. Because they really do try and press you into accepting it now, because I understand it from their perspective. They don't want a bunch of people to say yes who end up not going. But it's like, because no one really knows what's going on with degree apprenticeships, it's like people can be quite uneducated in here because they don't know what's going on. Essentially, they usually want you to verbally accept immediately or within a few days, okay, to the email or the phone or anything like that, okay. They're going to say things at this stage like, if you accept this offer, you have to work here 100%. You've just signed your whole life away, and like you have to do it. Okay, they're going to say things like that, which makes it a bit confusing. Like, like just picture this scenario: you're on the phone with someone from a company. Maybe you're going through like 10 assessment centers. It's one assessment center. One assessment center has given you one offer. They've given you 5 minutes to accept an offer, and they're saying, if you accept this offer, you have to work here. I'll be honest, degree apprenticeship companies, just message to you. I know you're not watching my videos, but it's not helpful. Okay, and just going to rant here that the problems that this causes on your end could be solved if you were a tiny bit more helpful to us. But it is what it is, man. Basically, I did the best of the situation I could, and if I was doing it again, I would do the best of the situation. So, like, it is what it is, man. They're basically going to say a phrase like this, which is kind of a bit like, I don't want to say threatening, but it's a bit like, if you don't know what's going on, you're going to be like, wait, hold on. So basically, that happens, and then also you don't know what future offers you're going to get, right? So maybe you've done one assessment center, oh, I've got an offer, but I actually want to go and work for Amazon, which I've got in like a month's time. So I've got that in a month's time, and I've got like this offer which I have 5 minutes to accept. Do I accept it and not, and like just bank on the fact that I wasn't going to work on Amazon, or do I reject it, hoping I get Amazon? But what if I reject it and then I don't get this one, and then I've got no offers? It's an absolute mess. Okay. Final thing is very rare, but some companies can do some weird stuff. Okay, so this is all like sort of you getting forced into these, but this one is like this is just a personal one for me, and I'll go into it in a second. But some companies I've heard, like very rare, but some companies can change things last minute. Like suddenly in August they can be like, oh, by the way, we're actually going with this university. This is something that happened to me. So when there was one of the offers which I accepted, right? It was supposed to be at a certain university, and then like 2 months later it went to a different university, which like I wouldn't have gone for that specific university, right? And if that had been my only offer, I would have had to just sort of suck it up and be like, okay, it is what it is. I'm just going to have to go to this different university than they told me it was previously. But I had multiple offers, so I could just end up declining them there and just continue with my life. On top of that, there's like redundancy and bankruptcy. You know, anything could happen. Like, I'm not saying like Amazon necessarily going to go out of business, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not a very trusting person. I don't really trust like anyone. Like outside my family, I trust like there's like two people who I trust with like my bank account, my like phone, and my YouTube account. That's probably the most important. There's like two people who I just give it to them, no problems asked. Everyone else, not even a chance, right? So I just honestly, I don't know if it's like trust issues or something. I just don't trust these companies to not go bankrupt because like when I was going through, I could just visualize. I'm gonna like choose this offer from this one company, and this is the one specific company that in like July or August they just go bankrupt or something, and then okay, there's no job there, and I've rejected all the other offers. Okay, we're in the mud here a tiny bit. Okay. So that's the trouble there, just going through the facts. Now, here's what I did. Okay, again, purely factual. I received 8 degree apprenticeship offers. I actually got 9 to be fair, but one of them was like a level 4, and I didn't know it was a level 4 until I turned up. So I got 9 offers, 8 degree apprenticeships. So we'll just focus on the degrees. 8 degree apprenticeship offers. I verbally accepted 7 offers on the phone or email. Basically, it was probably 75% of the time they're going to send you an offer via the phone, send you an offer. They're going to call you, in other words, which is why I really make sure around the time you're doing assessment centres and the weeks after, when you're getting random numbers from like plus 44, some random stuff, pick those up. There was a guy who I helped get into, I don't remember what company it was. It was Deloitte. I want to say Deloitte. I want to say it was Deloitte. He missed his like phone for like 4 days or something, like missing calls, and then eventually picked up on like the 4th day. Oh, you've got an offer. Well, he missed that because all the calls had come through, and he hadn't picked them up because it was weird numbers. So whenever you see weird numbers around the time you're applying, make sure you're picking them up because it could be them calling you. Okay, so I verbally accepted 7 offers on the phone or email. Okay, because I basically got forced into it. One company I didn't, but I'll get into that a bit later. Okay, I signed 6 degree apprenticeship contracts. Like I signed them saying, we've just offered you this apprenticeship place. And then what I did was I spent the summer whittling down the options, basically choosing the best company. I'll go into this later in the video. How should you choose the best company if you've got multiple offers? On A-level results day, I had 2 offers still open. And basically on A-level results day, I chose the one I wanted. Okay, it was 2 completely different industries. I chose the one I wanted, and I emailed the other one on results day to say, I've got an alternative offer. Won't be working there. So that's what I did. Factual. Now I'm going to go into a bit more detail, step by step, what I would do if I would do this again. Okay, the first thing is I would accept most offers on the phone. Okay, because when it's a verbal offer and they're giving you like, oh, you need to say today or you need to say within 2-3 days, it's not going to be enough to actually decide. Okay, especially if it's your first offer. Things get complicated when it's your first offer because then it's like, well, I've got another one in a month, but can I wait until then? I would just accept most offers on the phone. And then what I would do is I would just do their onboarding process until I decide I definitely don't want to work there. Okay, until I've completely ruled it out. Because I wouldn't personally want to make a rash decision and be like, oh, actually, no, I don't want to go with this company. And then 3 months down the line, you didn't get any other offers. And now you've already, like, you rejected that 3 months ago. It's too late. Apologies. Right? So I would just go through the onboarding process. I had multiple different industries that I was contending with, different locations, different companies, different types of companies. I didn't really know which route I wanted to go down. Okay? So I just accepted the offers, and I just started going through that onboarding process from like March onwards. Okay? And when I got to a point, I was like, you know what? I definitely don't want to do this. Boom, I got rid of it. Okay? And that's what I would do. And at that moment, when you realize, okay, I definitely don't want to make, like, let's say you got 5 offers. One of them you realize, okay, it's in like Edinburgh or something. I definitely don't want to do that. That's when you can just email them and say, I've received an alternative offer and I won't be starting that company. That's what I would do. Okay? and just slowly whittle it down. So you'll start going through little onboarding things. Just go along with it, because it's not like UCAS. It's not a centralized process. So the companies aren't going to know you have accepted, like, the companies won't know I accepted 6 contracts, because it's not centralized like UCAS. It's just the individual thing. There are complications, which I'll get into in a second, but it's not centralized. So I'll just go through their application processes separately. Sorry, not their application, because you've got the, okay, let me explain this. You do the application process to get the job. Then once you've got the job and they've offered you, there's then the onboarding process. And this is where you'll have to do things like sign the contract, fill in like medical forms, do like some little detail stuff, do some like onboarding, think like whatever, it's just like onboarding stuff to get you ready. I would just go through that process until I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do this company anymore. Let me just back out. Okay. I'd take 2 offers to results day. This is me personally. Again, this is all me. I'm not suggesting you do anything here. This is just an informational purposes video. I would personally take 2 offers to results day. The reason for that is because grades. So I had one which was like 3 A's, and I had one which was BBC. Now, I ended up getting 3 A stars, and like I didn't really doubt that I was going to get the first grades, the 3 A's. But just in case, like I'd legitimately like written the wrong name on the paper, or like one of my papers disappeared, and I was going to have to get like say I had to go and get a grade out of 2 out of 4 papers, then okay, I probably wouldn't get an A, but I could probably get a B out of 2 out of the 4 papers or something like that. That sort of thing I'm talking about, right? So that's why I had like 2 offers on results day, and also I still wasn't sure as well. That was another thing, I wasn't sure which industry to go down, so I just kept them. And also, again, some weird redundancy or bankruptcy thing could happen. I didn't want that. On results day, once I got my grades, I made the decision, okay, I'm going to do this. I emailed them on results day, the other company, to give them time, saying, yeah, I've got an alternative offer, and I won't be starting your company. That's what I did. Okay. I would avoid signing contracts with 2 apprenticeships at the same university. I did this. It kind of made things a tiny bit complicated, because you know how I said it's decentralized. The companies don't know how many you've signed or anything like that. The link is the university, because when there were 2 apprenticeships with 2 companies who were going to use the same university, so as part of the onboarding process, you have to do something called a skills scan, and you basically have to sign up with that university. So I effectively like one company, I manually signed up with the university. So it was just forms. Like, I've got the job. It's not applying. It's just like sort of admin, putting in your things. Oh, you're going to come to this university. Yeah, this is how it's going to work. Cool. Here's your email, like all that sort of stuff, right? I manually did that with one company. With the other company, they automatically did it for me, so I didn't have to do anything. They did it from their end. And what happened was when basically they have these two like sign up things from this Owen person at the same address, he's coming to do our degree apprenticeship scheme with this company, and he's coming to do it with this company. They were just confused. That's when they emailed me, and they emailed the 2 companies, both saying Owen has an offer from company X and company Y. Do you know what's going on? So that's why I was getting emails from the 2 companies say, hold on, what's going on, Owen? Are you coming with us? Are you not going with us? I had emails from the university going, come with us, well, whatever. It was a bit of a tiny bit of a mess. So I was just trying to avoid that. Okay, in the end, I ended up like rejecting both companies anyway, because I eventually decided that I wasn't going to go with those companies, but it just made it a bit more complicated. So sure, if I was doing this again, I would accept multiple offers. Okay, I would sign contracts for multiple offers. But just to avoid the headache, I'd avoid doing it if it's at the same university, because it's just, I don't necessarily think anything bad would have happened, because if I did want to go with one of those companies, I would have just said, oh, apologies, I didn't reject that one there. Let me go and reject that company. I'm definitely going with your company. That would have solved the issue, but it would save me the hassle. I would also avoid doing this for companies where you know someone involved personally. So to come back to this, I received 8 offers. 7 of them I said yes to. Okay. The 8th one, I didn't say yes on the phone. Like, this one I made clear. Give me 1 or 2 days to think about it, right? Because this company was a company I had done work experience with, so I knew the hiring manager. I knew a lot of the people at the company. Like, I knew them personally, so I didn't really want to mess them around. When it's some like random company who I don't even care about, who I've applied to, I couldn't, like, to be totally honest, I couldn't really care less if I accept the offer, sign the contract, and then like the middle of July I just drop out and say I've got another offer. I don't really care. That's a bit of hassle for them. It is what it is. Okay. But because I know these guys personally, like I literally knew the person who would be my manager, I knew my other colleagues, I didn't want to like mess them around out of respect for them. So I didn't want to like sign their contract and then like the day before on like the 31st of August I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm not starting, because then then they don't have an apprentice for next year and their whole thing's messed up, and then like they know me personally and it's like I just don't want to do that to them. So those ones I was very clear. I gave them a couple of days, and then I think I told them after about 2 days, yeah, I've had to think about it, and I'm going to go with another company, but I really appreciate it. So they were able to. They went and got another candidate. I actually know. I know the other girl they ended up hiring instead of me, effectively, because I rejected it. That was all good. So if you know them personally, like if you've done work experience with them and you like respect them and you don't want to do that sort of stuff, then don't. I didn't, and that's why there's one there which I didn't accept. Okay. I would avoid holding on to a bunch of offers longer than necessary. Okay, and this is where like this topic is a tiny bit controversial. And it's like if I went on the student room, sort of saying this sort of like saying the strategies that I would personally do, and I did. If I went on the student room and started saying this, I'd get a bunch of people calling this selfish and all this sort of thing. There was a girl who I helped get into. What was hers? I think it was Rolls Royce. I think it was Rolls Royce and some other company, and I think she might have got. It was 2 or 3 offers she got in total, and she made like a post on Reddit, right, saying she got multiple offers, and then she just had a bunch of people commenting on her post. I mean, mistake number one is like posting on Reddit, but like it is what it is, right? She had a bunch of people commenting on her post saying like, "Oh, that's really selfish. You shouldn't be accepting multiple offers," right? Which I get. Like I understand it, right? Because if you've accepted like 2 or 3 offers, then there's someone who's like you have someone's offer which they don't have, which you're probably might not end up taking, right? But the way I see it is like number one is just like do what's best for you, okay? Like you don't want to get rid of all your offers, then the company goes bankrupt, right? That's why me personally, and then this is where like feel free to disagree. Honestly, if anyone disagrees with anything I'm saying here, and you think this is this is like unethical or something, put it in the comments. Like I'd be genuinely intrigued to hear people's opinions. But me personally, I just don't trust these companies enough to not have 2 offers to results day. Like if you do, if that's genuinely fine, then do that. Like I said, I'm not saying go and do this. It's just me personally. I don't like. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'm overthinking, sort of thing, probably. But that's just the way I see it. Do what's best for you. Now, I would avoid holding on to a bunch of offers longer than necessary. Basically, once I got to a point where I was like certain, okay, yeah, I'm not going to go with this company, then I got rid of it. And that's why companies have waiting lists. Like that's the whole point, right? Some of you might have had an assessment center and you never heard back. So maybe you had like HSBC in November and you still haven't been rejected. What that means is you're on a waiting list because you got like the people who got the offer got given it within like 1 or 2 weeks of the assessment center. And if you're still like haven't heard anything, it's because you're on a waiting list and they're waiting to see if anyone drops out, if anyone says no, and then boom, they'll get you up there. Okay, so that happened. That happened for 1 or 2 people with JLR. I know, like I saw them post about it online. I know somebody that happened to Amazon for. So like the waiting list is a real thing. So that's why I don't really like see it as this like selfish thing, because it's like, okay, so are you gonna not do what's best for you? Like, you know what I mean? It is your life. Like, I get it. Don't be like it's your life. Do you know what I mean? So you're just gonna make the decision that's best for you. And also, there's a waiting list anyway. So it's like, obviously, if you reject it like the day before, then like fair enough, they're not gonna get a backup. But it's like, okay, accept like 4 different things in March, and then I realized in like May I didn't want this one. Okay, reject it. They'll email someone else in May, and someone else will get the place. Like I honestly don't think it's that deep. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next section now, which I believe is talking about like how to choose the best company now that you have multiple offers. But yeah, that's what I did, and that's what I would do. It's like, oh, if you've signed a contract with them, don't you have to start? It's like, okay, so I'll sign a contract with them, which says I've got this role, and then I don't start because I go with another company. What are they going to do? Fire me? Are they going to fire you when you don't even work for that company? No, they're not going to fire you, right? And the reason why this isn't even that deep is because it's the same as if you didn't get your grades. Like you can say you can sign a contract, but then not get your grades, and the contract's irrelevant. That's the same way I see this. Like me choosing to reject an offer on results day is the equivalent of me just not getting the grades for it. Like if companies have facilities in place for not getting grades, then they're going to have facilities in place for someone rejecting it. There's no difference between someone rejecting an offer and someone not getting the grades. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so I don't care. That's just me. Again, maybe you care. This is not advice for you. This is just purely informational. What I did, I signed the contract. I don't really care. Yeah, I'm not starting a company. What are you going to do? Fire me. I don't care. Okay. Now we're going to move on to choosing the best company. So if you have, what is it? Multiple offers. If you have multiple offers, how do you know which one to do? Okay, maybe there's one which stands out to you. Like if you have Amazon and then some like random accounting firm in Devon, right? Which one are you going to choose, right? But like actually, here are some important questions to ask. These are the ones which I think are the most important. Okay, the university, which university? Because like think about like the quality of that. Is it block release or day release? Okay, do you have a preference? Is it in person or virtual? The university, do you have a preference? Same with the office, right? Location, where's that office? Have a think about, does it mean could you stay at home? Would you have to go and get accommodation? Right? Have a think about that. Flexible hours, this is one that's big for me, right? Is it 9 to 5:30 every single day? Is it 8:30 to 5 every single day? Or is it, oh, you can start anytime from 7 or 9:30? Like I can start if I wanted to. I could start at 7 a.m. and do a 7 to 3:30. That's what I do most of the time. But occasionally I can also like go to the gym in the morning and then start like 9 a.m. because I have that flexible hours. That was one of the reasons I chose the companies I ended up doing because I knew my schedule was going to be all over the place and I wanted to just be able to start at different days. Like I can work 6 hours on one day and then just work 10 hours the next day to make up for it, sort of thing, right? Working from home, that's another one. I know a lot of people care about that sort of thing, but you need to actually see what the companies actually like, what their policy is. Companies like Amazon, Goldman Sachs, they may have gone back to office. I'm not really sure, but you need to check. Don't go in expecting, oh, I can work from home 5 days a week. You probably won't be able to. Some companies you might be able to do it 3 days. Some companies you can do it 5 days. Some days you can do it 0 days. So it's really important to like know this thing before you go in and make sure you have the right expectations. In terms of the company, what projects they're going to be working on, that was a big thing for me. Thinking about, okay, this company does this sort of projects, this company does this sort of projects. The team, like this was genuinely another one I thought about. One company, like the people in the team were all going to be, like the team was very, I won't say that actually. Yeah, there was just like I one company I didn't think the team would be a perfect fit for me necessarily, right? Benefits, things like holidays, things like pay rises. I mean, you're probably not going to go and ask them, like, oh yeah, what's the pay rises going to be like? Um, but yeah, pay rises and just pay in general, because that comes into it. One's like 30,000, one's 22,000. It's like that's a big thing there because you're doing the same job for 8,000 extra a year, sort of thing. Also, study days. This is probably one that it doesn't get covered because it's a degree apprenticeship specific thing. Basically, when you're doing your university stuff and your work stuff, some companies will give you study days, so just extra days that you can take off work where you can just focus on your assignments and your exams. Some companies will give people 0 study days. There's people on my course who get 0 study days, which means they're doing stuff in the evenings, weekends, because they've got all the work stuff, but they don't even get time off, like to go extra time to do assignments and exams. My company has like 10 study days a year or something, which means there's 10 days I can just take the whole day off work to just do assignments or exam revision or something like that. So that's really helpful. Like, companies that have like 0 study days, I think is very antisocial. Like it's a red flag. Antisocial is probably not the right word, but it's definitely a red flag when they do that. Hold on, give me one sec. So that's definitely a question I'll be asking. What's your provision for study days? Okay, and if it's something like 10 days, great, perfect. Now, to actually find out this information, number one thing's an office visit. Okay, because like that for a little phrase, like a picture's worth 1,000 words, because you'll be able to see how it works and everything. Companies may organise this themselves. If they don't organise one themselves, go and ask for one. And if they were to say no, oh no, you can't visit the office, instant red flag. I probably wouldn't even consider that company at that point. Okay. Also, on top of that, it's also going to make you much more confident on your first day. This is a kind of hack for having a good first day. Is like, don't have your first day being your first day. Have it being your second day because you've already visited the office once, met a few people. You know your way around. It just makes things a bit easier. Okay, that was the same with me. I knew like who the receptionist was. I knew who my line manager was. I knew different people, all this sort of thing, because I'd already been there for my office visit. Okay, if you want to get an office visit, or actually in general, this is just a general email, by the way, you can send just a sample. So you can copy paste this. Hope you're well. A few questions, whatever. Furthermore, I'd like to come into the office to meet some of the team if that is possible. Thank you in advance for your help, and I look forward to receiving your reply. I think this was pretty much the exact email that I sent to the company I'm working with now to go and get an office visit. With this email, send it to your line manager if you have their email. That's better than HR. Basically, HR is like a code word for like a useless. I'm not even gonna say. It's too late. I've already said it right. HR is useless. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. At a lot of companies, which I'm not going to name any specific companies. I'm not trying to get like a lawsuit or something, right? HR is not very helpful. They ignore emails. They're not very. Like their replies are bad. They just don't respond. All this. It's just whenever you have to deal with them, it's like, right? If you have your line manager's email, they're going to be more likely on top of it. So go and send an email with any of. So basically, what this whole section is. These are the real things that are really important. Maybe some other things. Ideally, you ask these during your interview. Okay, that's the best. You know, at the end of your interview, when the interviewer is like, "Oh, do you have any questions for me?" Start off with 2 or 3 good questions that are like, show you're interested. Like, what are the day-to-day challenges I expect to face in this role? Just some waffle like that. And then after, I'd then go into like the legit questions I actually want to know. So, like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Sort of thing, right? So that will be the easiest because you're face to face with them. You'll be able to get answers. If not, if you don't get all your questions answered, that's when you put it into an email. And when you're writing this email, try and get it to your line manager. They're going to have better responses in terms of quality. They're actually more likely to reply. HR, yeah, okay. If they don't reply, just follow up after 1 week or 2 weeks if you get no response. That's what I did. I didn't get any response the first time, so I just followed up and like within 1 day. Like that's just like general life tip. Especially if you're emailing me. Like honestly, if you're emailing me and I don't reply, I have seen your email. I've just ignored it because I had other things to do. But if you like send me a follow up, like, oh hey Owen, did you see this email? I'll probably get your response within 24 hours. Like just general advice. If you ever need to get in touch with someone, it's usually like the second time they'll get back to you super quickly. Okay, so if you don't get anything, just follow up after 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay, so I think that's everything. Let me just double check. Yep, that's what I talked about. What I would do if I was doing the offers. Then those are the questions I'd be asking, and that's how I choose the company. There is one question: should I go with the big company? Should I go with the small company? It's preference, right? Because a big company, you might get bigger projects, but you're more likely to be a smaller cog in those projects. A smaller company, you can get smaller projects in terms of scale, but you'd be a bigger cog. And I know that for a fact that like that's a thing that there is. Also with a big company, they're more likely to have a cohort of apprentices. Like they might have a whole bunch of like, oh, there's like 10 of you they're hiring or something, or 5 of you, or 20 of you, or 40 of you. Companies like JLR, Amazon, they have a big cohort, so there'll be lots of people in your company. Go to a small company, you might be the only apprentice. Also, if it's a big company, they're more likely to have had lots of degree apprentices above them. And if, like, for example, if you're like their 5th cohort of degree apprentices, they're going to know what they're doing. They're going to be fairly like helpful with it. They probably have study days. They're probably understanding of it. If it's a company's first time doing a degree apprenticeship, that's a bit rough because they're not going to understand what it is. They're not going to be very helpful. They're probably not going to give you study days. So it's like in general, I would rather go with a company who's well experienced with degree apprentices because they're going to have refined the experience and made it a good experience. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. If anyone has any comments, any questions, anything I didn't cover, put it in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.